What's up, Night Owl Steely here, back with another video, and today I got some D&D news for you. So the D&D team over at Wizards of the Coast recently put out an article last week on diversity in Dungeons & Dragons. And we're going to go through this article really quick, and then we're going to talk about it. So right away it says, Dungeons & Dragons teaches that diversity is strength, for only a diverse group of adventurers can overcome the many challenges a D&D story presents. In that spirit, making D&D as welcoming and inclusive as possible has moved to the forefront of our priorities over the last 6 years. And for those of you that don't know, Wizards employees have been getting hit back to back to back with sexual assault claims. Feels like every other day a new sexual assault claim against a Wizards employee has come out, and there's still, I'm not going to name any names, but there's still people calling for to fire employees, and it's a mess. So I think that this article is in light of that and other allegations that have been going on. Anybody that even has Twitter on their phone has probably seen all of the mess that's been going on lately. It goes on to say, we'd like to share with you what we've been doing and what we plan to do in the future to address legacy D&D content that does not reflect who we are today. We recognize that doing this isn't about getting to a place where we can rest on our laurels, but continue to head in the right direction. We feel that being transparent about it is the best way to let our community help us to continue to collaborate our efforts. It goes on to say, one of the explicit design goals of 5th edition D&D is to depict humanity in all its beautiful diversity by depicting characters who represent an array of ethnicities, gender identities, sexual orientations, and beliefs. We want everyone to feel at home around the game table and to see positive reflections of themselves within our products. Human in D&D means everyone, not just fantasy versions of Northern Europeans, and the D&D community is now more diverse than it's ever been. Throughout the 50-year history of D&D, some of the peoples in the game, orcs and drow being two of the prime examples, have been characterized as monstrous and evil, using descriptions that are painfully reminiscent of how real-world ethnic groups have been and continue to be denigrated. That's just not right, and it's not something we believe in. Despite our conscious efforts to the contrary, we have allowed some of those old descriptions to reappear in the game. We recognize that to live our values, we have to do an even better job in handling these issues. If we make mistakes, our priority is to make things right. Here's what we're doing to improve. So far, so good, right? I mean, who can honestly say that they want people to feel less welcome at the table? And as far as the orcs and drow go in this example, they do have a pretty rigid structure, no wiggle room for any kind of outliers, which is make Dritz such a big deal in that story. He was a drow that didn't agree with him, and he's just a prominent D&D character now, and that has a lot to do with it. And I'll talk about it at the end of the video, but I want to mention that people are having a lot of issues with these upcoming changes that I'm about to read out, and it's because of characters like Dritz that kind of get people are saying they're ruining Dritz by making. I'll get to it at the end of the video, but let's go over what they plan on doing to improve the list that they give. We present orcs and drow in a new light in two of our most recent books, Eberron Rising from the Last War and Explorer's Guide to Wildemount. In those books, orcs and drow are just as morally and culturally complex as other peoples. We will continue that approach in future books, portraying all the peoples of D&D in relatable ways and making it clear that they are as free as humans to decide who they are and what they do. When every D&D book is reprinted, we have an opportunity to correct errors that we or the broader D&D community discovered in that book. Each year, we use those opportunities to fix a variety of things, including errors in judgment. In recent printings of Tomb of Annihilation and Curse of Strahd, for example, we changed text that was racially insensitive. Those reprints have already been printed and will be available in the months ahead. We will continue this process, reviewing each book as it comes up for a reprint and fixing such errors where they are present. Later this year, we will release a product, not yet announced, that offers a way for a player to customize their character's origin, including the option to change the ability score increase that come from being an elf, a dwarf, or one of D&D's many other playable folk. This option emphasizes that each person in the game is an individual with capabilities all their own. And this is the big one. This is where people draw the line. As soon as they start messing with people's mechanics, oh my goodness, you guys are changing the mechanics to virtue signal and get woke and all of this stuff. People are outraged that mechanics are getting changed. And what they are just not getting is that everything in the book, everything in the book is optional. You don't have to follow. You can go back to the way that the races are already presented. It's up to the DM. And I've seen arguments on Reddit about how when D&D is presented this way, new players will latch onto it and it'll stick. And it's up to the veteran DMs to kind of weave that. But it's the veterans, it's the older players that are complaining. And it's not like a new player is going to show up and be like, I don't agree with this. It should be dwarves, orcs should be stronger than elves. What is this? And it's not like those things won't pop up later on when ability score increases go. So I agree with this change. I agree with this change 100%. As a DM, I get tired of seeing characters that are. I don't mind when people min-max. I really don't. But I don't like when people have to choose specific things and they don't function as well if they don't choose this. For example, Firbolg clerics. I actually said this on Twitter as soon as I saw this announcement. I was like, yes, finally, I can make a Minotaur wizard and I won't get hell for it from my group. And somebody immediately jumped on me like, people should be outraged by this. And I'm like, look, once you've played D&D long enough and you get once you've DM'd long enough and you see enough Firbolg clerics, you'll agree with this change too. I said that this is the first thing I think of every time I see a Firbolg cleric. I'm like, this needs to happen. And for those of you who don't know, Firbolg is one of 2 races that get a +2 wisdom increase as opposed to a +1 or none. And the other race is like is in the Eberron book, Kalashtar, I think. I never see anybody play one of those, but I always, whenever I'm running a game and I'm playing a Firbolg, like, let me guess, cleric, right? Or druid, I don't want people to feel like they have to choose a race in order to mechanically be min-maxed or be mechanically effective. So yeah, I'm all for this change. Play what you want, and we'll see. We'll see what I like the idea. I definitely like the idea that they're going with. I like the direction they're going with this change for sure. Karsa Strahd included a people known as the Vistani and featured the Vistani heroine Esmeralda. Regrettably, their depiction echoes some stereotypes associated with the Romani people in the real world. To rectify that, we've not only made changes to Karsa Strahd, but in 2 upcoming books, we will also show working with a Romani consultant, the Vistani, in a way that doesn't rely on reductive tropes. We've received valuable insight from sensitivity readers on 2 of our recent books. We are incorporating sensitivity readers into our creative process, and we will continue to reach out to experts in various fields to help us identify our blind spots. We are proactively seeking new, diverse talent to join our staff. In our pool of freelance writers and artists, we've brought in contributors who reflect the beautiful diversity of the D&D community to work on books coming out in 2021. We're going to invest even more in this approach and add a broad range of new voices to join the chorus of D&D storytelling. And we will continue to listen to you all. We've created 5th edition in conversation with the D&D community. It's a conversation that continues to this day. That's at the heart of our work, listening to the community, learning what brings you joy, and doing everything we can to provide it in every one of our books. This part of our work will never end. We know that every day someone finds the courage to voice their truth, and we're here to listen. We are eternally grateful for the ongoing dialogue with the D&D community, and we look forward to continuing to improve D&D for generations to come. I cannot believe people are upset about this change. Honestly, it blows my mind. I truly believe that the people that are against the mechanical change haven't played D&D long enough. They haven't, or at least haven't DM'd long enough. Because when you start seeing the same exact race class, feat combinations, and same spells coming up, you kind of just roll your eyes. So in my opinion, this provides a more options, really. I mean, like, you can be whatever race you want and still function in the class that you want. I am curious how they're going to do racial features. Like I mentioned Minotaur. I love Minotaur. It's one of my favorites, but you pretty much can't be a Minotaur spellcaster. At least not well, because they have like strength boost and horns and like a charge, and it's, it doesn't fit. So I'm curious how they're going to do races, how racial features. But even then, even I'm not even worried about it. I still play my Minotaur Sorcerer. I'm not even no complaints. But having more mechanical advantage is definitely a plus. And as far as everything else, I'm like I'm all for it. I'm all for it. Who has a problem with this? Like, really, get over it. Just get over it. Like I can't even like the people just losing their minds on Reddit and Twitter and any other social media are I want to say I don't understand them, but I do. It's the same people. It's the change. It's the change that they don't like. And I've played D&D for a while, and I remember every new edition, every new change, and it's the same people that were always like, "Oh, this is ruining the game." Like when third edition came out, "Oh my gosh, this isn't second edition. This is just they made it too easy, or it's not as fun." And then fifth edition came out. We don't talk about fourth. Fifth edition came out, and it's like, "Oh, this is too simple." It's simple. They simplified the game. It's barely you can't even customize your character anymore. It's just the same stuff. It's like, "Oh, we're making the game more diverse." Oh, they're ruining it. They're ruining D&D. Like, get over it. It's the same. It's the same. The game is way different now than it was 20 years ago, and it's going to be way different 20 years from now than it is right now. So, you're going to need to accept that. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure you hit those buttons, leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think of this change and if you agree with me or if you think I'm just full of it. And if you're a DM looking for players or players looking for a DM, make sure you join Discord, link in the description. Come by, ask questions, let me know what you think. And as always, I'll see you at sundown.